I could knock out some housekeeping stuff, what's Mulraney's injury status?
At the moment, I mean, he had to come out early in the game. We're trying to see full status, but it's probably highly unlikely that he'll feature at least on Friday.
And has Hindman undergone surgery yet?
Yeah.
He did? It
Yes.
was successful? Everything's good?
Yeah, he seems like he's doing really well with his rehab, and he's in good spirits every day, working really hard, so he's in a good place.
And last one about this frame of stuff. Argentina was eliminated from the Olympics today. Do y'all have a timetable or yet know when Barco is going to return?
I don't. We watched the last bit of it right before we started a meeting and got out to training, so I'll get updated on everything exactly, but I know there's plans in place to have him back.
Okay, thank you.
Rob, are you in touch with the front office of Carlos and Duran about possible new signings coming in this summer?
No, I mean, at the moment, that's not my role and responsibility and my focus. My focus is on these boys and getting them ready for the next game and keeping everybody together.
Any timetable from them on how long you'll be in this position?
I've not really interacted with that because I don't want to, until they tell me something, I'm just focused on the guys I got and where we're at as a group, really. That's what I want to focus on.
And you've said this before, like you guys are going to face the team that's in front of you, but is it special for you personally going into Orlando and facing that club that you're a big part of?
It's going to be different, right? And I'm sure there's going to be not a lot of people on the other side happy to see me, and I'm sure I'll hear that, and that's great. But again, like being corny, and it sounds corny, but I'm focused on these guys, and that's my job and my responsibility. What's happened in the past was really great. I had great memories, and I felt like I contributed to something really special. They're in a different phase of their club at the moment, and so are we. And I'm really excited and happy of my career that I've had here, and proud of the moments I've had here. So it's going to be a real big battle, and I'm looking forward to that tension and that animosity. It's going to be good.
I wanted to ask a little more about that. You spent 5 years in the USL team and didn't get pulled up with the MLS group. Is there any kind of ill feelings? How did you kind of feel maybe in that moment?
It's the best thing that happened to me. I mean, I think things happen like that, and you face a little bit of adversity. It's good for your character as a person. It's good for your career sometimes that you might find yourself in a different position because it ended up kind of sparking my coaching career a little bit. But right now, that's not my focus. My focus is to coach these guys and to really focus on the game. And we've not really had any thought about going and facing the opponent in terms of who they are and all that stuff in the past at the moment.
Any challenges in preparing for this Orlando? They've got a lot of guys out there coming off a big loss. They could have some key guys coming back for Friday night. What has that scouting been like for you and your staff?
Yeah, I mean, it works both ways. They come off it with an eagerness to get after it. They come off a little bit wounded. Who knows where they're at? But again, I'm trying to put less focus on them in a sense of where they're at and more where are we at, how are we making progress from each game. Obviously, they have players that have been in and out with injuries or suspension last week with one of them. So trying to guess their lineups and things like that that you're going to put all the effort into that. But also, they have a way of playing, and no matter if it's this guy or that guy, they play. They have an identity. So, and that's kudos to their coach because they do a really good job of how they play. So we're taking the challenge of, okay, if this guy plays, he's got these individual qualities, of course, but also as a team, tactically, how are they going to move, how are they going to interact with each other, where can we control space, where can we hurt them, things like that.
Highly doubtful you want to share too much, but what were your points of emphasis during your first full week of training with the team?
I mean, yeah, not to share too much, really, but the biggest things that we've talked about before, you guys have heard the same thing, is taking risks, playing forward, positive reactions, and just a togetherness, and without being tactical, but the togetherness of how we train, how we play together when we're on the ball, off the field, all those things, but then just reactions of adversity of when you're at a moment on the field or if it's something off the field, how are we reacting to things? Is everything in a positive manner, and how are we building each other up to get better every single day?
Have you had a chance to breathe yet, now that you've had a few days without games and stuff?
I felt like a little bit I had after the Columbus game on Sunday. Kind of took a second to take a little bit of a breath, but it was like, yeah, it happens like that, and then you go into the next thing because these head coaches don't get enough credit sometimes. Like, your mind is constantly racing, and it's something on to the next thing. And but I've had a lot of support myself, and the boys. Just the focus for me is just making sure we do right by them and get them in a good spot to get some wins here.
I asked because Waltz had mentioned he doesn't think he's ever seen a guy work harder or longer. I can't remember the exact quote phrase after Sunday's game than you.
Yeah, well, I'm glad I've paid him a little extra for that one. No, I mean, look, we all do, and like everybody in that building at the moment is just rolling up their sleeves and trying to push forward because we believe in the guys that are in there. We want them to have better. We want them to have good results. We want the fans to be happy and have results and get something that they can be behind. And yeah, whether we spend 10-hour days, 8-hour days, we're going to do whatever we can in the moment to get everything in a better position. And then the next person comes in and it's theirs to take as well and us to help build.
How do you create that togetherness you were talking about? How do you make sure people are having positive mental reactions to things and encouraging each other, like Lamar said a second ago?
I think it's leading by example at times, like us as a staff and everybody inside the building. If we can be positive and without blowing smoke, right? Like we know where the moments that we're in, and it's not going to say, oh yeah, let's get around a campfire and be happy. It's not that, but it's also like, look, we got to face the next day, and you just kind of take it day by day and step by step. And if you take it with a positive mindset, I think that it's infectious, and it can be infectious the other way around. So I want to make sure that we are that way. And we're here to serve them and to be better for them. So that's the it's not easy, but that's the mindset I think we all approached it with.
Rob, how do you define taking risks? Every coach sees it differently. It could depend on where you are on the pitch, where you have the ball, or what position you're in. How do you define that for this current group?
I think that's a pretty good question because you're right. It could be in different parts of the field, different in opponent base, things like that. I think taking them out of their comfort zone, an individual. So whether it's a center back, whether it's a left back, whether it's a midfielder, being a little bit uncomfortable with like, if I'm a center back, I'm playing this pass and I'm getting a little bit tense as it goes through those lines. That's a little bit of a risk that, oh yeah, it might not come off the first time, but keep at it second, third time, you might get it, or it's a ball in behind. I think those are what gets people into it. Those are what gets your teammates into it. They see things like that, a ball between lines, a ball over the top, or even if it's a run that you think I might not get this, but the chance I do get it, we might the chance of scoring is higher, right? So it's not a exact definition, but it's I think it's individual based, it's opponent based, it's a unique thing, I think.
Is that how you see the game? I mean, that's clearly been part of this club's early identity as well.
Mm-hmm.
But do you kind of see the game like that? Have you always seen it like that? Does that be part of growing a player's confidence?
Yeah, I don't know if I've always seen it that way. I definitely, since being here, you're learning a bit about yourself as a coach and getting to learn from some great coaches and to see some great players up close. You see what it looks like, and especially when you hear the crowd and they get behind those moments, you're like, all right, well, yeah, that's exciting. I understand why they're excited, and you want to give people more of that feeling, and you like the feeling yourself. So I think it's been an adaptation of my philosophy or the way I see things, the way I like to see things. Look, it's risky because it might cost you, but if you can take more risk going the attacking way, I think that it can be exciting. It can be ultimately something that goes and gets you results.
Have you found yourself repeating any of the phrases you would hear Frank or Steven or Gabby saying to the guys during training this week?
I don't know. I don't know. They'd have to ask the guys because
okay.
I'm probably saying a lot, so I don't exactly remember.
Anything else? All right.
Thank you, Rob.
Thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate it. Have a good one.